saying congratulations to Zohran Mamdani and condolences to New York City. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. The church making a mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Stone Friend. Steph and Rudy in the studio. Steph, man, catching fire. Seeing her everywhere. Mm-hmm. Nice. Saw you on Tires. Very funny.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Saw the special, which is on Netflix as we speak. Mm-hmm. Filth Queen, very funny as well. And, you know, it's nice in this business. You hang around a little, you see people, you know, you saw them back when, and now you see them when they catch some heat. It's just kind of nice. Yeah. Well, look, not everyone cheers for everyone all the time in the comedy department. I think there is a thing where at some point you go from being a player to being a coach or being a player coach or something. It's not all the new draft picks you're worried about anymore.
Yeah.
So if someone is a contemporary is getting heat, then you're sitting around going, how come I don't, you know? But if you did your TV shows and wrote your books and had your stuff, you don't feel that sense that I think a lot of comedians, like women, contemporary, they may have much different feelings than I do. I actually do root for you.
No, I will say I think a lot of comics have been super supportive and like sharing it. And I think because I've been doing it for so long, like I've been doing 23 years. So people are like, oh, God,
years.
She did it. She didn't quit. Jesus Christ. So I think people are just like, wow, maybe if you do actually work that hard for that long.
Yeah.
You can get something.
So you started at 17?
I did. My first stand-up set at 17.
Really?
In this like dive bar in Toronto, yeah.
Do you know the date?
No.
Good. I don't like those people.
That's too much. I remember only because a guy got so mad at me. I bombed, obviously. And I go, I'll kick your ass in the parking lot. And he goes, all right. And then he waited for me. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm 17. I'm like, so that's the only reason I remember it. I don't remember, like, I don't remember. I don't know. I have no idea what I said.
Yeah.
Bad. I was like, I remember that stuff. And then, like, 10-year anniversary. I'm like, you're a loser. Get a better anniversary.
I don't know. It is sad and weird. Also, that the human mind, I'm sitting around, what you remember.
Yeah.
And what you don't remember. And then why. You know, like I was walking the other day, and I had a flashback to being like 9 years old on the East Valley Trojans Pee Wee football team. And like we were poor and on welfare and food stamps and stuff. And the other kids were okay because if you sign up for Pop Warner football, it usually means you have some semblance of a family. It doesn't mean you're rich or anything. But where I was, it was like Studio City kids and stuff. They had houses and, you know, not products of divorce and stuff. And there were the cool kids on the team with the long blonde hair. And like, I was trying to get in with them, but I was kind of embarrassed because we had a dirt lawn and, you know, piece of shit car and everything. And one of them said to me, like during practice, they go, hey, Carolla, you going to the movies? And I turned around and I went, like, oh, the cool kid is asking if we're going out to, we're going to go out to the movies. And I turned around and I went, yeah, why? Okay, what movie? And he went, if you're not going to the movies, why are you picking your seat? And I was pulling my jockstrap out of my ass. And I was 9 and I was like, oh. And I was just devastated. And now I'm 61 and I was walking the other day in Burbank. I was like, well, why are you picking your seat? And I was like, oh.
It still has the same feeling.
That's all I remember from that time.
And you still feel embarrassed by that?
I remember going like, I was so excited that I thought I was being asked to join some of the cool people to go to the movies, and it turned real fast into me being an ass picker. And then they all started laughing and walked away.
Yeah, it's insane how that stuff stays with you for all those years. You know, like, I went in my 6th grade class, we all went to a movie together, you know, probably 15 of us. There was a girl I really liked, Aubrey Collins, and she sat next to me, and I tried to do that move where you give the fake stretch and the thing, and you, with the yawn, you try to go around, and I accidentally hit her in the side of the head with my hand, and then 9 seconds later, she switched seats with a girl named Serena. And that happened when I was 12. And I think about that like once a week. I'm like,
once a week?
Not enough in my book. I think about the picking your seat thing every goddamn day. Every day.
Kills me. Yeah.
Steph, you must have, I mean, you have. You're 17. You got that guy. Challenges you to a fight. Any other horrible negative thoughts stuck in your head?
I have them every day. Like, you guys clearly don't get trolled online. I literally this morning. Well, can I show a photo? I need to show this. I need to show it. I don't give a fuck. This guy's a piece of shit. This guy literally said, "Okay, she's funny, but damn, one of the least attractive people I've seen in my life. Yikes! Seriously."
Whoa!
I went onto his profile. I mean, what are we doing here?
Is this profile fat guy eats ramen?
I mean, his name is Wade and Blake 706. You gotta come at me. Ugliest man I've seen in my life.
Yeah, he's ugly,
buddy. Let's not be doing this.
In general, the person's physical appearance is a no-fly zone for me because it's not really interesting and it's not things they can control normally. Mm-hmm. And like somebody sent me a thing and it was like this super lib chick who had like a triple chin and she was yelling at one of the ice things or whatever. And she's making a fool of herself. But of course, all the trolls looked like she swallowed Jabba the Hutt, you know? And I was like, I started to go, yeah, fuck this fat. And then I was like, that's not really the angle. The angle's her message.
Yes.
Everyone, the package is different. Mm-hmm. You know, short guy, fat guy, like whatever. Like it's easier if you disagree with someone. But in general, the physicality is not comedically interesting.
To you,
me.
Yes, sure, because you're a normal man who's actually funny. This is sad losers on the internet who clearly have been wronged by women.
Yeah, I get it.
It's every morning I wake up to like the biggest one that's making me laugh now is that men hate my nose in a way that's like not normal. Like, I had a video go viral because they were like, "Is that a prosthetic? We gotta figure..." As if I'm carrying around a box of noses, which is hilarious. Could you imagine going through TSA with a box? I'm like, this is crazy. But I'm like, they get so... I was watching... I did Kreischer's, like, Something's Burning, and I was like reading the comments because I'm demented. And it was all nice, and then one guy, "Look at the fucking beak on that pig." I'm like, do you think I want this? Like, do you think I was like, let's break my nose when I'm a child? I don't want this. I'm like, has anybody watched nose job videos? They're terrifying.
Oh, I would
they
never.
saw it down.
Oh, no. It
you
hurts
can't.
my
I'm going to
teeth.
sound different. I'm like, suck my dick. Don't look at me then. I don't know why you hate my nose more than anybody else on the planet.
Well, again, I don't know. There are things. All right, let's put it to you this way. For me, at least. If you put... I saw a bumper sticker driving home, said, you know, old school, kind of liked it. Don't like the way I drive, called 1-800-EAT-SHIT. You know what I mean? Now, I'm riding behind that person thinking about eating shit. But then I realized I don't like that that's the message. What if my kid's in the car? You know what I mean? What if you have what if you're driving your 8-year-old daughter to get chemo? You know, because she has leukemia, and we just stuck behind you telling us to eat shit. You know what I mean? So I don't like it. But that person volitionally put it on his bumper.
Yes.
You didn't put that nose on your face.
No.
There are things that are just there. You know what I mean? And even when guys go bald, it's like, he didn't do that. God did it to him or whomever. It's like, it just is. So I don't even know why people want to get caught up on sort of what is. I prefer the behavior to be attacked.
Well, that's what you assume. Like, if you don't like my comedy, I understand that. But if you're just coming here to comment my appearance, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you here. Then don't look at me. It's very bizarre.
I have a bumper sticker of Steph's nose. And boy, people get pissed off
that
about
thing
it.
Again? Fuck you. Get off the... I'd rather eat shit than look at that fucking thing.
Well, you know, I think at a certain point you can transcend your nose like Barbara Streisand did, because at a certain point she becomes Barbara Streisand, not this woman only based on her aesthetic. You know what I mean? At a certain point, men do it pretty fast. You just put out, do a little comedy, write a couple books, and you just you go past your aesthetic, and then at some point it's what you look like. But it's you. Like, they know who you are. So you're not randomly, you may have an ugly nose, but it's your nose.
I said it was ugly. I said it was big.
I'm sorry, unattractive.
I said it was big. Jesus Christ.
I'm voicing the online troll. I'm assuming no.
Yes.
But now it's you. That's your look. You are you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the same thing as what's the girl from Dirty Dancing? She got a nose job.
Jennifer
Grey. And then she fucked her career. That was it after that. I'm not comparing myself to her, but I'm like, this is my fucking face. I don't tell you. I have
good.
I have a hot boyfriend. He likes it.
You have a hot boyfriend?
I do have a hot boyfriend.
Good.
Guess what? Suck it.
Nobody puts this big nose in a corner.
That's right.
You physically can't. That's why. You physically can't. I can't fit in corners. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're right. Jennifer Grey fixed her nose.
And guess what?
Although we could be kind of superstitious natives because there's tons and tons and tons of people who had hits in the 80s who didn't fix their nose and their career ended.
Yeah, look, let me just have this, Adam, okay?
I'll give you this moment. I'll give you this moment.
Let me have the Jennifer Grey thing.
Although if they ever bring back the show Double Dare, your nose could double as the nose that everybody went up into and grabbed the... Don't you remember that?
No, I'm Canadian.
Oh,
we didn't have that show.
Nickelodeon, didn't you? Listen, I
guess we did.
I was close to Canada. I had CBC.
Where were you?
I'm northern Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had CBC, but we had Nickelodeon. In Double Dare, there was a giant nose that you would have to climb up into, filled with boogers, and then grab a flag out of it.
Oh, wow.
So if anything, they can model that.
There we go.
See, it's a win-win.
So there we go. I got to contact Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
So 23 years of just slogging away, and I feel like it's literally been like the last 7 weeks I've just seen you pop up everywhere and may feel much different to you, of course, but I just mean I said to somebody 3 weeks ago, I was like, I'm just seeing Steph everywhere, and they're
I were talking about.
Oh, we were, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, Rudy was like, yeah, what's I don't know how it works. The algorithm works. Is it the special? Is it you doing stuff?
Yeah, I think it's me doing a lot of shit. It was everything. Stuff? Yeah, I think it was the tires thing, and I got a really good PR team, so I've been pushing the fuck out of the special. It's my first ever special, and it's on Netflix, so I'm like, I need people to goddamn watch it. So I've been on every podcast, and because you're probably following Dan Soder or Ari Shaffir, you're following all these people.
That's where you're coming.
Yeah.
Where'd you shoot the special?
Boston at the Paradise Rock Club.
Yeah, it looked like a rock club.
Yeah, it was a really sick venue. Every huge band ever has played there.
Yeah, and it was kind of nice because, I think, because, you film at the Wilbur at a theater or something like that. It's raked. It plays like a theater, looks like a theater. There could be a guy on the stage playing a cello, but your show was kind of rocky, kind of dice clay, kind of retro-y.
Yeah.
With the dress and the vibe and the whole thing. And so a rock club would sort of fit the tenure of that, right?
Well, it was a romper. It wasn't a dress. It was a jumpsuit.
No, I said you dressed.
Okay, yeah. It was a jumpsuit.
Definitely not a
no, I was like, that's not a dress.
Your dress was of rock.
We we matched it from an old Van Halen concert, their live shows, their lights and the trellises. I wanted it to feel like you're at, especially if we're at a rock club, it's got to feel like you're at a live show, and I wanted it to feel very energetic. There it is. Then we put my name on the speakers instead of the Marshall thing.
Yeah, so you guys had half stacks on stage.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
It looked fucking sick.
Yeah. Well, that jumper was half gi, half tuxedo.
Yeah. It was also kind of modeled off of Angus Young. Yeah. It was a little, Angus Young-y, and I wanted to be I still wanted to wear a jumpsuit, but I also I have a little air slot in the back because I get real fucking hot.
Yeah,
people. My biggest thing after watching part of Joe Rogan special, I was like, I cannot look that wet. I will not be wet. It's not happening.
Titty sweat. Yeah,
the tit and the head. We kept stopping and fixing my bangs. I stopped maybe 6 times during the special to wipe me down. I was dripping.
It is always amazing to me. I've talked about it before, but it was funny. Eddie Murphy went out and did a show in full leather. Mm-hmm. And not only was he wearing essentially Evel Knievel's jumpsuit, but no undershirt or anything, just fucking leather. And so then every younger black comedian loves and worships that, and they saw it when they're 13, and then they come out, and now Martin Lawrence has to shoot it, but he's got to go full leather, and everyone goes full leather, and I'm like, Eddie fucked up a whole generation of black comics, because there could be nothing. Anyone who does comedy knows it's lights, sweat, pressure, not leather, no undershirt.
No.
That just feels like the most miserable outfit you could do comedy in would be leather with no fucking Hanes underneath and leather pants and leather boots. And I'm lucky because I'm just a white dude, so I just go out there in jeans and t-shirt and sneakers. I don't have it's not a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that seems brutal. But yours, again, you had the kind of hot pants look.
I did the shorts because I knew I was going to be wet. And I was like, we got to do something. And I have nice legs. That's the only thing. I'm like, you can talk about my nose all you want, but I have good legs. So get the legs out there. Get
and
them
black.
squatting.
And I'm with you, too. I was noticing that with Joe's stand-up special. Like, I will go, look, you give me a linen shirt that's like salmon color, and I go out and do an hour and 10 minutes. I'll go, no, I'll pit out.
Yeah.
I'll pit out. You'll see black circles where my underarms are if it's hot in here. And if you give me a light blue shirt, I'll go, no, I'll just wear a black shirt because then you won't. But then I was watching Joe's special. I was like, why not the black shirt? You wear it at the UFC.
Why did no one say anything?
Yeah.
I know it was a live show, but I would have been like, if I watched it back, I'd have been like, this is psychotic. Like somebody had to switch it out for a second.
I've literally taken shirts before I went out on stage. If we were shooting or something, I'll just take a little water bottle and just dab it on the sleeve. If it kind of turns black, I'll go, just get me a navy sweater because I'll sweat all I want in it, but you're never going to. No, I don't.
And people will notice. Like I'll get off stage if I wear I wore this green jumpsuit. I was doing fine, but I wasn't like the jokes weren't in the same way. And then I got off stage. It was so comically large and like salted. I was like, well, they're looking at that.
Yeah.
It's very distracting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think society probably doesn't tolerate women sweating as much as men.
They don't tolerate anything a woman does ever. I
like to tell black people though, they do. That is one. We do make a lot of room for them sweating. You know, like the preacher, the politician, the comedian. They can sweat more than the white man, and we don't hold it against them. We just think it's passion.
And they bring like a little cloth, like a little.
Yeah, they're allowed to dab. They're allowed to sweat. It just sort of means they're really into it. You know what I mean? But I'd say in the sweating, pecking order, black males at the top. They can sweat as much as they want. No one says anything, especially if you're wearing a fucking leather gi doing comedy. Then number 2, white guys. Number 3. Asian, because we don't. A sweaty Asian will freak us. They're not allowed. When you see one, he's lying. He's beaked up on something. He's up to no good. And then I think, okay, no. Let me work this out. Black men get to sweat as much as they want. I think Hispanic get the second amount of sweat equity.
Yeah, Fluffy's up there sweating.
We'll let them do it, especially if they're heavy set. Yeah. White's third. Asian. I don't know, Asian may beat women to the bottom of the, I don't trust that. Yes. Then when a woman sweats, we think something's wrong. Yes. Well, you see an Asian sweat. I've never seen an Asian sweat, but if I did, I would think something was wrong.
Yeah, I don't think I actually have now. I'm thinking about that.
Have you ever seen an Asian sweat?
A little asterisk to the Hispanic guy, though. Depends on where they're working. If you're laying bricks, sweat all you want. If you're in the back of a TGI Fridays, keep it in, my man.
I still think culturally, we'll tolerate the black man the most, the Asian the least, and women aren't allowed to sweat, except for black women do get to sweat more than white women. I'd say at the bottom, I say a sweaty, fair-skinned blonde is at the bottom of the sweat list. We don't trust her. She's not allowed to sweat.
You don't see that a lot.
You don't see it, but when we do, we're worried.
You're spooked.
You're spooked. Real spooked. Good.
Yeah. Really
it's like seeing a dry black man. You're like, what? How dare they?
Yeah, if I ever saw Chelsea Handler sweating, I would run out of the room screaming. You just hear my car peeling out.
And Nikki Glaser with yellowed pits.
I've never seen her sweat. I swear to God.
No.
Glands.
No, I wouldn't. But let's see. Oh, God, what's her name from SNL? Who used to yell, wash your ass all the time? Leslie Jones.
Oh, yeah.
If Leslie Jones wasn't sweating, I'd be upset.
No, yeah. She has a cloth with her all times.
Yeah,
smart. She's dabbing.
I was going to say, all the black guys that I tour with, all of them have a towel when we leave the hotel to go to the club. Constantly. It's like a thing. Like they're constantly dabbing and making sure that there's a dry brow on stage.
All right. Yeah. Well, anyway, culturally acceptable, but Steph, one thing you don't get to do is sweat.
I'm dry. I'm very dry throughout.
Anyone make any horrible comments about you sweating? Hey, bitch, pitting out again with that big
not
schnoz?
Not yet. Mostly, wow, Jesus.
Well,
the big schnoz part.
I do is I combine them.
Jeez. No, mostly nothing about the wetness.
Funny.
My dewy.
I did take a couple of notes because I watched it last night and this morning. So the intro.
Sorry. Very funny. I watched it last night
Thank you.
It just came out, right?
It just came out literally yesterday. Yes.
The cold intro is hilarious. You and Bill together, so funny.
Yeah.
But the other bit that it was in my head the whole drive to Los Angeles today. The Bachelor in Paradise bit. I don't think I've laughed that hard at another comics bit. It's so fun. I'm telling you, the whole special is great, but just that bit alone, whatever it is, that 45 seconds is worth watching that entire special.
Talking about turn the mic back off. Yeah, because I applied for so many reality shows. I never got any.
Did you?
The show The Circle.
Oh, right.
I was like close to getting it, and I was like, "This is my big break." So I'm like, I'd be a weirdo, and then I think I'm too gross. Mm-hmm. So it was fun to make fun of.
Speaking of that, I love the part where you were talking about the fart, and it starts up here, and then you want to kind of let it go and ease out, and then is there an old man in the back of your seat? Where did this come from? And then it's gross and hilarious. Thank you.
I don't think I should use Earl's real name. Earl's probably watching that going, oh, fuck. I know we had a nice time. No, Earl.
When did you come out here?
About 10 years ago now.
That's the L.A.?
Yeah, I was doing comedy in Toronto for obviously a long time.
What's the family do up in Toronto?
My mom is still a Highland dancing teacher, examiner, and judge.
Yeah, right.
She does that. And my dad's retired from doing Toronto Hydro, which is he'd something with lights and hydro. I don't really understand what he did.
You know what I do love daughters. Like once in a while, I'll talk to a daughter, and I'll go, "What's your dad do?" And she'll go, "He's in the he flew the." Plane, like in the Navy or something. And I'll go, what do you do? He was on the boat with the flat part there. I don't know. It's like he landed naval jets on carriers? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And I'm like, you should get a little. That's not substitute. Not your dad. But if your dad's a substitute school teacher, feel free to go But if he's got something really good like landing F-18s on a jet, jet on a carrier. Get a little more specific. Yeah.
My dad was an electrician, I guess is the term, but
And your mom did the dancing.
Still does it. Still
the
teaching.
Highland.
Yeah.
Is that Scottish?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing Highland is. Also, they have the Highland Games.
Yes.
Where you throw telephone poles and beer kegs and stuff like that.
I should have done that. I would have been better at that.
You did the dance.
I did the dancing. Very bad at dancing.
But you may say you're bad at dancing, but you're better than anyone in the room at that kind of dancing at any given time, right?
Unless I'm with anybody who actually competitively Highland dance. And they
right, but the chances are...
Yeah.
I've done some competitions in the Highland... No. I'm saying you're always...
Yeah.
You're never going to be sitting in the comics corral upstairs at the Laugh Factory and have somebody who can do the clog dance better than you.
Yeah, that's true. But I only whip it out if I'm hammered at a party or a bar. That's...
No, it's kind of a weird thing, which is if you can play the oboe and you're decent, or you just can play the oboe, you should embrace that. Mm-hmm. But the problem with people who can play the oboe, they played around 30 people that were better than them. So then you go, you play the oboe? And they go, I'm no good. I suck. Fuck that. Put the oboe up my ass. Sorry. I suck. And I'm like, you can play the oboe. No one here can play it. Yeah, but I was fifth chair and I never made it to the Philharmonic. And it's I know, but you can I'm saying do that with the dance.
I do whip it out sometimes. It's just embarrassing. It's a lot of jumping up and down.
And your mom, would you say your mom forced you to do it?
Yes, 100%. I would say that. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, I was not good. I'm built like a fucking linebacker. I'm not a dancer. A dancer, stereotypically are small, svelte, little feet, pointy toes. I have flat fucking feet. I have 9.5 sizes. There's not a dancer's foot. It was hard to find shoes.
Did you have a sister that could be coach and had more of a dance bod?
She had a fat ass. So she was better than I was, but we weren't great dancers. It was embarrassing. We stopped when we were 18. We stopped way too late. I started when I was 3 years old. There's literally videos of me at 3 competing.
Wow.
And then all the way up to 18.
That's it. It's an interesting thing. It's sort of what you want to do versus the hand you get dealt. You should have been doing comedy, not clog dancing.
Yes.
And And sometimes it's a parent that does it, and sometimes it's like self-imposed.
Which is even weirder. If your parent forced you into dancing, that makes sense. If the parent had nothing to do with dancing that got you into it, that seems bizarre. Unless the kid really wanted to do it. Like,
Well, there's things. I mean, so people turn on the TV, kids, and some people see someone playing center field for the Yankees and go, one day, you know. And then some people see Evel Knievel jump a bike, and then some people see Eddie Murphy do stand-up, and they go, I want to, you know. And you kind of go, all right, well, that's how the world works. But what if you're not funny and you're dying to do what Eddie Murphy
it's a lot of comedians.
does? I know.
It's a lot.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Rudy, this is a little bit more of an intervention than it is a podcast. These mics aren't even. Dawson, you're not recording, are you? No. Okay. Let's get into this, Steph. Steph's had a lot of success. Obviously, you can read my resume.
Man. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You have a daughter. You're in your 40s now, Rudy.
Yeah.
You're making the pilgrimage from Nevada out here.
Oh, that's how far.
Yeah.
Isn't it time?
Yeah.
Just admit. Now, listen. Nobody says you can't do open mics. No one's going to stop. Steph, remember what we talked about? Just do your part.
Guess,
you said you'd support me.
Please quit comedy, is what I was saying.
Yeah, but
please.
I said to do it in a more
a nicer way.
Supportive way.
I think we've discussed that it would be better for the community.
Best time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember this?
Can I still keep reading the news?
Let me say something,
Oh, you
Rudy.
sound so sad.
I'll tell you what caught my interest in between hearing you try to do comedy in the green room the other day, waiting backstage. You used to work at the Love Sack.
I was,
That company's really on the move these days. I see their commercials all the time.
Yeah.
Surely they'd be happy to have back a salesman with your experience.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're a people person. Ask anyone.
Well, thanks. Well,
Yeah, so I actually made a call to the Burbank Love Sack.
Okay.
And, you know, I didn't throw my celebrity around because when you're funny, you turn into a celebrity. But I talked to them about a position.
Oh.
Part-time, obviously.
Did they need me to come do like a corporate gig, like a stand-up thing at the corporate? No.
No, I think
like an actual job selling again for the
not
company.
on the street spinning the sign around. Okay. I talked him out of that shit. I said, no, not Rudy. Rudy used to work at the Love Sack up in Minneapolis.
In Mall of America.
Mall of America, right. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? And when I said, Rudy, Mall of America, Love Sack, Salesman of the Year, and the guy gave a knowing grunt.
Yeah.
He went like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think he knew where I was going with this.
Yeah, it was Jim. Did he say super funny guy?
I didn't catch his name.
No?
Part-time.
Okay. All right.
It's just, we don't need to go there now,
Okay.
but we do need to go today.
Okay.
Because the guy said he wasn't going to be there tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. So anyway.
Back to section.
This is nice. He's a nice friend.
Look, what's an intervention? If I had an intervention for Charlie Sheen, would it be because I didn't love him?
Well,
It'd be because I love him.
okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
You hold the intervention, friends and family.
When did you start
We flew
doing
your
comedy?
mom out from Minneapolis. Georgette, come on, send her in.
Can you imagine?
What's her name again?
Stepmom, thank you.
Send your Dawson, send Rudy's stepmom in. She's got a cake and a presentation. She's a little nervous. I told her to just write it out on her phone.
I wish you do this to more comedians. Can I bring in people that do comedy for as long as me that are not funny?
Hey, Adam Carolla really wants you on his podcast. And they'd be like, what? I'm not even getting any traction. He heard you on some sort of underground tape. He's a huge fan.
Trust me, you got to do it. Yeah, big fan.
Yeah. Well, Steph, since I got you here, I got this new bit about Love Sack. I've been working out for
God.
Is this anything? No, okay. God damn it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you got into comedy?
When I got into it?
Yeah, when you got in, were people telling you were funny, or did you just want to do it?
No, I won the 5th grade talent show doing stand-up comedy. So I'd always wanted to do it. But I'm from a small town, northern Minnesota, next to Canada. There's no outlet for it. So I got into radio. And then after I kind of hit my dream job in radio, I then started doing stand-up, did it for 6 months. Daughter got sick, decided I'm going to take 6 months off. That turned into 10 years. kept going with radio, did that until I was like 38, and then just decided to quit, become a stand-up, met Ace Man, and then started going on the road with him.
So no one ever told him he was funny. That's part of what we talked about over the phone before the intervention.
Shit.
It's not really been documented that anyone really ever said you're funny. I mean, you can play the kazoo in the 5th grade talent show. Doesn't mean you're an artist.
I did suck Louis Anderson's dick one night, and he may have said something like that out loud, but I wasn't.
You were focused.
We spoke to Louis' sister, Bernadette, who's still alive.
Is she here too with my mom? Did they fly in the same flight?
I didn't get. Did Bernadette pull in yet? Because we had her coming in after the stepmom. But anyway, she said you never sucked Louis Anderson's dick. Although, what would his sister say?
Well, maybe Louis didn't tell her.
Yeah, he played it close to the heart monitor.
Anyway, we got your badge made up for the love sack.
Great.
And they just call it love sack, by the way, not the love sack. Don't make that mistake.
No. Yeah,
okay. All right.
Sales.
Obviously, it's L.A., minimum wage, $18.75 an hour, and that's the start.
Oh my! So wait,
is that what it is?
I'm getting a bump in pay from comedy? That's amazing.
That's kind of what we're here to talk about. Yeah, it's just not fair to your daughter anymore. Yeah. Speaking of your daughter, she's here.
And she lied about her sickness. You were so unfunny. She's like, I'm sick, Daddy. Please stop doing comedy.
She told me she was sick of you being unfunny. That's all part of her presentation, so I don't want to step on it.
So it was like all the doctor's appointments. That was like the Truman Show. Like that was the show.
Nothing was real. Everybody was on it.
Nothing's real.
Jesus.
That's right. All right. Now, and scene. As I like to say. All right, picture this. Miami in the mid-'80s, right? And you've got this guy, TJ Dominguez. By day, he's running the world's biggest Lamborghini dealership. But at night, the dude's basically moving mountains of cocaine for Pablo frickin' Escobar. I'm talking almost $100 million a month, adjusted for inflation, of course. And his family is totally clueless. He's got planes, boats, mansions all over Miami, and get this, a pet mountain lion named Top Cat, because why not? Now, for the first time, TJ's telling his story on a brand new podcast called Cocaine Air. If Scarface and Narcos had a baby, well, this would be it. So check it out. Just search for Cocaine Air wherever you get your podcasts. It's Cocaine Air. Enjoy, right, Dawson?
TJ never set out to be a cocaine smuggler, but when his dad suddenly died of cancer, a couple of con artist bankers swooped in and scammed him out of all his money. And those tragic events sent him down a really dark path of revenge and vindication. And even when the feds busted him in 1988 and put him in prison, he actually bought a helicopter from behind bars, hired a pilot, and hatched the most audacious prison break in the history of prison breaks. Listen to Cocaine Air wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, let's talk about drinking without the next day regret. That's right. You heard me right. You want a buzz? Not a hangover. Meet Breeze. Spelled B-R-E-Z, pronounced Breeze. This isn't your average seltzer. We're talking about hemp-derived, THC, CBD, functional mushrooms, nootropics, adaptogens, all in one can. You'll feel it in 10 minutes. Lasts about an hour and a half. Like a cocktail, but you keep your dignity. And you don't get that hangover. They've got everything from the OG, micro, from the gentle lift, Italian lemon, elderflower, just enough to take the edge off, to the drift, blueberry lotus for winding down, tuning out, and actually sleeping. Sparkling, lightly sweetened with agave, all organic, vegan, non-GMO, no hangovers, no regrets, just brighter colors, louder laughs, tastier snacks. This stuff's good. I've tried it, and especially if you just are in the mood to be in a better mood, then I'd try Breeze. Am I right, Dawson?
Ready to experience the future of drinking? Head to try.drinkbreeze.com/Carolla and use code Carolla for a $5 credit and free shipping on your first order. Breeze. Drinking has evolved. Consult with a physician before you use if you're pregnant, nursing, or have any known or suspected allergies or medical conditions or are taking any medication. FDA has not evaluated these products for safety or efficacy. Products are intended for 21 and older.
So now you got a mom who wants you to be a Lord of the Dance.
She wanted me to take over the dancing school and teach.
Is that kind of the river dance? Is that the same phylum?
Sure.
Okay, so she wants you to do that and take over the dancing school.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you something I know about women. When they want something, they'll tell you anything to get you to not do the other thing. You know?
Yeah, okay.
Like they'll kind of go, nah, that's no good. Yeah, we're not going to. Like, I know some men who do that and some women will do that. When they'll kind of decide on something, they'll try to talk you out of the other thing. If they want you to do something.
Yes,
Did your mom ever try to talk you out of comedy?
No, she just, when I first started, she didn't really understand it and find it funny. And then when she saw how gross I was, I think she was embarrassed that her dancing friends were going to see me and be like, that's your daughter? Because my mom is kind of a big deal in the Highland dancing community. Like, most people know who she is.
Oh, no.
And I think they were like embarrassed. And then I had the reverse effect because now all her dancing friends are obsessed with me. And they like, they find me so fucking funny. And they're so supportive and they come to all my shows and stuff.
By the way, Rudy, Steph's mom is here as well. And I just had her watch a YouTube 15 minutes ago on YouTube, so she's prepared something.
Yeah, she's ready for it.
Well.
Man, they got her up the oxygen tank long enough?
We're going to hear her coming in those vlogs because she'll hear her coming down.
You'll hear her.
Yeah. So at the beginning, especially with
and when
your
start,
brand of comedy, that had to be
And I brought them to shows where I was like eating shit. I'm like, come watch me do 3 minutes where I got no laughs. They're like, what the fuck is this? This is what you want to do with your life? Like,
well, that's interesting. Now, why, Rudy, I would never dream of asking either one of my parents to come to a show or anything because I'd be like, I don't know, what's in it for me? Like, this could only go wrong. I don't know if it's never going to turn out.
I don't know why they came. Good. I think it was like a bringer show, maybe. Like I was one of those just wanted to like fill up the crowd and make you get laughs. It was like a show of like 40 people all doing 3 minutes.
Did your mom and or your dad try to keep a little, stiff upper lip, poker face thing? Like, some of the stuff was okay in there, like that.
Yeah, they did that for a bit, and then now I think once. My dad's big turning point was when I opened for Bill at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. It's like a huge arena.
They went out.
My dad came to that, and I think watching him watch me on there, I think he was seeing the people react. He's like, okay, this now. And now after Bill thought I was funny, he's like, oh, okay.
Okay, right.
Maybe it's not just that you're a gross pig.
Is your dad retired? Does he still work?
Yeah, he futs around, but he's retired.
Okay, yeah, because usually it's the guys at work that come up and they're like, I saw your daughter on the thing. That's so funny. That's where they kind of get their encouragement to want to support you.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of the star at work.
Can I read this? So my dad got an email today from a guy at our cottage. So my parents have a cottage and like up by, it's like an hour past Peterborough if you know anything about whatever. My dad, this is how old this man is. He lives on the lake. He's like a lake man. I don't know. He lives there all year round.
Old Canadian lake man.
Emails my dad today. Subject: Steph's performance on Netflix.
Oh wow.
So this guy's been sitting alone in his cabin.
How old would you estimate?
I'm telling you, is probably 70 years old.
70 years old.
Alone, watching
lives alone.
In a cabin on the lake.
May have rubbed one out watching the Netflix
if
special.
He could get it up.
All right.
He wrote, "Congratulations, Dad. Your daughter's unique approach to physical and mental comedy is both brilliant and hilarious.
Oh, wow.
Inspiring audience members to demonstrate sexual positioning without restraint underscores how incredibly close Steph connects with her audience. She is a modern-day breakthrough Lenny Bruce in delivering her unique style of comedy."
Wow.
Isn't that so nice?
So sweet. Yeah.
How sweet is that?
That's great.
I didn't think he opened it being like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Rudy, ever receive a letter of that nature from a family member written by an old man in a cabin?
I did one time get an email. My mom got an email about my ability to be able to sell Sactionals at Lovesac.
Sactionals.
Gotta go back to Lovesac. There you go.
Yeah.
It'll convert into a ball pit. I've seen the commercials.
Oh, okay.
They do a surround sound subwoofer system. I mean, the bass sectional is nice, but you can go up from there.
Yeah, listen, it's a 2-year warranty on all the soft stuff, but lifetime on the hard stuff. So
work the stain guard fabric in, if you will, as well. That's a big selling point.
Yeah. You don't want to come on too strong though. You upsell at the register, not on the floor.
Can I ask this? I see the commercial. There's a dude drinking a glass of wine, his wife, and then he knocks it over. Can we do just one commercial where a woman spills something and the guy just stands there and goes, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Just one. Just one. There's always have to be us.
Just
a backhand and fucking points at the mop. You know what I mean? It's always the guy making breakfast for the kids, knocking. It's if you watch TV, you would think women are just Chinese acrobats. Like have never knocked over a glass, never spilled the thing.
But they make it look like every woman in commercials is a moron.
Yeah. So everybody, every man's a moron. The women tolerate the moron.
Or they're annoying. Every woman in commercials like, I thought I told you to do trash out, Charles. Like they're so irritating. I'm like, no one talks like that. I'm like, I tell my boyfriend, I'm like, take the fucking garbage out, idiot. Or I take it on my damn self.
Half the spillage I realize is because in commercials, people don't know how to sit. Like they're holding a full glass of wine and the guy goes, I'll just sit. And then the wine just goes, it's like... I will set the wine down and then I will sit, or I will sit in such a fashion. I don't just throw it over my head as I plop down onto the love sack.
Dirty ass dog comes in from outside.
Oh,
do you live in a mudslide? Like, what dog? Why would you let that dog outside during the monsoon?
It makes no sense.
You know what's gone from commercials, which was a huge, and we can find it, Andrew. I've done it before. It's kind of interesting. Detergent commercials when I was a kid was all about grass stains. The kids with the knees, your new jeans, the grass stains. And it was like kids just rolling down a hill and it was grass stains. Yeah. It was all about grass stains. No more grass stains because kids don't fucking go outside. And number two, it's all synthetic turf if they do go outside. There is no, like people make detergent go, fuck grass stains. We don't have to deal with that. That was the number one. We actually moved from grass stains to wine stains, which is culturally bad because we've given up the rough and tumble play and we're just drinking.
And now, but I feel like every commercial like that is just about the smell of it. It's just like women orgasming.
No, they're just smelling.
Every commercial is them sniffing it. Like there's where's the cleaning?
Yeah, a lot of sniffing going on.
So much sniffs.
I think women, and even women with petite noses, have a much keener sense. Now, obviously, you can smell what's going on in the next county from over here.
I got to make sure I use a good smelling detergent.
But I think it's anyone who's had a girlfriend or wife or whatever does know that you've been drinking, or it's like did you go smoke a cigarette out on the patio? I'm like, no. I mean, they'll come into the room. I think there's a reason for that. The mom has to come in and bust the fucking kids. The dad's like not into busting. You know, the moms are like fucking Toucan Sam. Like they just come in there like, anyone smoking marijuana in this? You know, you could be next to someone outside who smoked a joint and it's in your fucking sweat jacket now. They got it.
Yeah, maybe
they'll
more
smell
heightened to it. Maybe
I think they're keener. I think men are probably more. Well, we're more visual. So it's like parallel parking. Like I can estimate the space you're going to make it in, how much room is whatever. It's like a visual thing. But women, they're fucking inspector detector with that nose. Yeah. They're on it, right?
Big sniff. I can walk in the house. The second I walk in, I'm like, you just shit recently. What the fuck? I'm like, well, light a fucking candle.
Yeah. Right. There's the shit. There's the guys. There's the cheater smoker guys who just go out, and patio and take a few puffs and rinse their mouth out, hit themselves a little aftershave and come back in. Women a bust, drinking bust. There's all the bust. If somebody, I don't know, what's the number? So I came up with an invention. My invention was a vape that you could smoke on an airplane. Okay. They'd have to go into the bathroom, but you could still vape all you want because they don't let you vape. But you could vape with this, but you can't vape if it's flavored like cotton candy or something like that.
Yeah.
But an ass-scented vape. You could go into any airport, any bathroom, any airplane you want. Just shut the door. Sit down, vape out, just vape out, and then just walk out and kind of go, give it a minute. No one would ever accuse you. You never get busted. Now, the science is I got to get it to not taste like ass.
Yeah.
It only smells like ass. But the whole thing about ass, if you really think about it, if it's either your ass or synthetic ass, you're fine. Like if I walked in a room and went, "Oh my God, who fucking destroyed this room?" and then Rudy went, "It's fake fart, it's sulfur," I'd go, "Oh, okay. What do you want to eat?" Like because it's a psychological thing.
Yeah, okay.
So you could be in with your ass-scented vape, knowing it's you. You wouldn't freak out. The next person who came in would, but they wouldn't know it was a vape.
You could also on the airplanes just vape then with that in your seat.
Yeah, but that's
already ass.
It's tougher because
you can hide it.
It's hard to hide. I think. See, women could vape because they could pretend like they were breastfeeding.
Oh, yeah.
And they could just do that thing where they put the towel over their head.
Yeah.
And
but
then
you
they
need a baby.
Dutch oven?
You need a baby there. You can't just do that. That's psychotic.
Yeah,
you have to have a baby.
Yeah, you'd have to hire a baby.
And then you're blowing ass smell on your baby. This is crazy.
Listen, I'm not saying these are fully fleshed out. I'm saying these are works and I'm workshopping these ideas, you know? Yeah, all right, you'd have to have a baby. That's a good point. I didn't think about the breastfeeding. Pumping. Pumping.
Okay.
Pumping.
So you can bring out the big pump, show everybody, like, sorry, my tits are killing me, and then do that.
Yeah, you don't have to get on the intercom, but I mean, you could, it's a seat partner issue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Pull the thing out. Sure. I got a newborn.
My tits are hurting.
He's going to be hungry when I land.
Yeah,
I'm going to be landing.
Odd that she wouldn't be with her newborn if she's still breastfeeding, usually, but we're still with the kids. But.
Yeah, then they may judge a little bit, but hey, business is business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The baby smells like shit. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
No, baby, pumping.
Oh, just
pumping. My breast milk smells like ass.
Okay, let's get on the same page.
Okay.
We're touching down in Denver in 90 minutes. I want to vape, or you want to vape. So get the pump out. Announce you have a newborn. You got to pump. Then you go, because I'm so discreet, I'm going to put this beach towel over my head. And then you vape away.
Okay.
And then ass vape. And then when you're done, you complain about the shitty food in first class and how your fucking stomach's doing cartwheels.
Okay.
And you get to vape. So it's a little bit of work.
It seems more work than anything else
here.
You have
to travel with electronic breast pump, but that's not...
that's a lot.
You have to come up with an explanation of why this breast pump is all of a sudden smoking, emanating.
And completely empty after you're done. There's zero milk in it after.
Well...
Now you have to bring milk.
First off...
bring milk in the plane. There's so much going on here.
I dare... any seat partner to question you where the milk is. I want to fuck. That's a bold.
Yeah.
That is a bold person right there to fucking get on their high horse and go, baby, why aren't you lactating sufficiently for me? No, I don't think a guy. There's no guy that would ever. That's a fucking hate crime.
No, that'd be crazy.
But if you have black comedian next to you, you got sweating, but then he also has the towel that you can use and probably going to be passed out drunk the entire flight. You're good. Look at that.
Better yet, they have those lactation stations at the airport. Go in there and vape away.
Oh, yeah. Because I don't think people are really using those. Are they?
No.
I've never seen anyone go in or out of one of those.
Can I tell you my theory? More guys have beat off in there than women have actually pumped.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Because there's no way they're like, I wouldn't feel sanitary. I'd rather do it. You feel it's bizarre. You're like in a cell.
Yeah.
What about you, kids?
No.
No, I don't want them.
It's too late. I'm 40.
Yeah, but there's.
I didn't freeze the eggs back in the. I should have frozen them. I think a couple of years ago. And my boyfriend's been shooting loads in there for a while, and nothing's happened. So maybe I can't.
It's probably his fault.
It's somebody's fault. We certainly don't know whose it is, but at this point, I don't know if I want one. I like my life. I have a dog.
I know, it's
no
kind
offense.
of
I know you guys
funny.
have kids, but I'm like, I just, my sister has a kid. We love her. I could be the fun aunt.
Yeah. Is it any kind of a reflection on your own childhood?
No. I also I love my sister. She's my best friend. So I always think I'm like, that would be fun if I could do this, and like I have a kid, but I'm like, if they're friends, I'm past it now.
Do you have?
And I don't want one, so I'd have to have two.
Oh, you want two?
I can't. One's weird. Only children make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, my daughter's looking for a funny parent, so if you want to adopt, feel free.
Yeah.
She desperately needs one.
Yeah, I mean, paying for college on a love sack salesman salary is going to be tough. You got to get a special on Netflix for that.
Yeah.
Well, for women, there's more of an imperative biologically, or at least some women, which is kind of interesting. I'm trying to think. Like, do you think if you're a woman who has more masculine traits, like you think, I know women, like Megyn Kelly's a beautiful woman who thinks like a dude. Like she's just got a dude brain. And then I know plenty of men who have chick brains. Like Gavin Newsom's like a chick and Megyn Kelly like thinks like a dude, you know? And maybe the more dude you think, the less you feel like you need kids or want kids. Because I feel like women have more of a biological mandate for that.
Yes.
But then there's some women that are just like, don't care.
I think mine is basically for my career. I think if I wasn't being a touring stand-up comic, I'd probably live in Canada and I'd have kids. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, well, how my life is now. I'm out every fucking night. I'm drinking, I'm partying, I'm having a blast. I'm like, when would I be with my kid?
Mm-hmm. What do you think you may have done if you weren't doing comedy?
I'd be working at Love Sex.
There's an opening if you want.
No, I think I would probably do radio. I'd probably be in Toronto doing radio because I have a face for radio, whatever the fucking term is. But I don't think I'd be doing. I don't know. I think about that sometimes.
Remember, I'll give you the blowhardiest answer I've ever heard to that question, but I only heard it once. Dane Cook used to be a blowhard, like a major blowhard, way back. I don't know. I met him doing Crank Yankers a million years ago, and I was like, ugh.
Oh my God, I forgot about the show.
Fucking blowhard. And I didn't even know who he was. I mean, this is like 20, I don't know. What was the first season of Crank Yankers? I mean, it must have been like 21 years ago, and I was like, ugh, this guy's a blowhard. And, I mean, he was, but then he wasn't. Now he's nice, you know? I don't know. There's a lot of guys, comedy, Jay Moore's that way. We're talking about Rob Schneider. The guys were douchey when they were like 20-something-year-old dudes, and now they're mellow. Mm-hmm. You know, guys get nicer, women get crazier. That's kind of the way.
Maybe they get nicer because they date children and it calms them down.
Yeah, it's like their prostate blows up.
You marry a 17-year-old, maybe you calm down a little bit.
17 when I met her. We didn't start.
Sure.
We didn't get married until she was 18 in a corridor.
Held hands for a year.
Remember Elvis? We just talked for 3 years.
With
the door
Jerry
closed.
Lee Lewis. She was my cousin. It was fine. Okay.
Yeah, we talked, and then we didn't. We waited until she was 18 before we got married. So,
God.
No, your prostate gets you stop making testosterone. You stop producing so much testosterone, and then you sort of just mellow out.
Okay.
That's what happens. But I think I said to Dane Cook, I think I said it to him because we were doing Crank Yankers. What year did Crank Yankers start? 02? Wow.
Oh, wow.
Geez, it's been a long time. Well, we did it, then it went away, then we started again, then it went away or whatever. But I was talking to Dane Cook, and I said, what would you be doing if you weren't doing stand-up? And he said, I don't know, but I'd be the funniest motherfucker at the company picnic. And I thought, well, thanks for not answering the question and being a douche and fucking being a self-aggrandizing douche at the same time. It's like, I'm not going to, if someone said to me, what would you do? I'd be swinging hair. I'd be building. I used to build maybe I'd be I'd be a foreman on a job somewhere because I like building or something like that. But I wouldn't go, I'd be at any job and I won't tell you, but I'd still be the funniest person at that place. But that was the old Dane Cook, and now he's nice.
And now he's nice man.
I saw him blow up on somebody. I hate to shit on your point here, Ace, but I did see him blow up on somebody like 2.5 years ago at a show, which at the time was very weird because you're watching a guy you've known basically since you were 18 just like lose his shit on somebody, and then you're like, what happened? And then they explain it that he had something happen with his meet and greets, like, hey, can we make sure that when people have stuff to sign, just lay it out beforehand, we can get it all signed, because what happens is they come in, then they want to talk, then I got to sign, then it takes an extra 90 minutes for us to do a meet and greet, and we can get this knocked out in an hour. And they did it like the 7th or 8th time, and then finally he just took his team into the back of this theater and was like, what the fuck is the matter with you fuckers? I have fucking told you guys 1,000 times, get this shit out, I'll fucking sign it. And I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. Like, what? Yeah. And then you find out, and you go, oh, you know what? Then fuck those other people. If he's told you 9 times to get your shit together, and you still haven't, then you know what? I'm on Dane's court this time.
People don't really realize that, like, behind the scenes, you like tell people, like, don't do this, or I don't want to have to deal with that. Like, I've done it a million times, and then it happens. And you fucking, there's plenty of footage of me screaming into a camera because stupid stuff, like when I used to do Loveline on MTV, I've told before, it's been a while, but it drove me fucking nuts. It drives me nuts. So let's just say the person's name was Suzanne. And that would be the caller who's coming up. Yeah. And I would sit there and I'd just be looking in the camera and they'd hold the sign up like Suzanne 21, and I'd go, Suzanne 21, where are you calling from? What's your problem? Which is fine. They wouldn't put it on the screen or anything. They just hold, but people would spell their name weirdly, right? And everyone in America's got their own fucking take on their own stupid name, And we all know asswipes that they spell whatever. Their name is Bill, but they spell it with one L or something.
B-W-U-L-L,
yeah, like they spell everything weird. So the person would be named Bill or Suzanne or Connie or Sarah, but they'd spell it in their own fucking retarded way. And then they'd hold the sign up, and the sign wouldn't be seen on camera. I'd be the only person to see the sign, but they'd be fucking fucked up spelling a Sarah. And so then I'd sit there and I'd go, is Sarah online too? Sarah, is it? And then they'd come up and they'd go, it's Sarah. And then we talk, and I'd go, I sound like an idiot. I sound like I can't pronounce the word, like I don't know the word Sarah. And then they would go, that's the way she spells it. And I'd go, no one sees it. No one sees it. If she says her fucking name is Sarah, just fucking spell it like Sarah Lee or whatever out of a book. Just fucking write it that way because nobody. Do the next show. Is Timothy? It's Timothy. After show, I'd go, don't fucking do it. Just write it down. But that's the way they spell. I go, I don't care the way they fucking spell it. Put it on the fuck. That's what happens. Then you start, the third time it happens, you just fucking go, fuck this. What the fuck? Mm-hmm. And then you sound like you sound like an asshole.
Well, you're seeing everything out of context too. I don't know if you saw the clip about Theo Von palming some guy in the face. Have you seen this?
Yes.
Well, I saw that guy's video, the guy explaining it, being like, I didn't do anything. I was just being a nice guy. There's no way Theo Von palmed your face for no fucking reason. Something had happened. No one just does that. That something had happened before that. Maybe you didn't do it, but maybe he was getting harassed all fucking night and snapped.
When did this happen?
We're not seeing this.
It's a few weeks ago, right? I think what happened was they showed this clip of Theo pushing the guy away in the face or something, and come to find out, this guy was like, "It was just my birthday, and I was just trying to have a good. I'm just a normal, everyday, regular guy.
I was performing here. He didn't see me perform. It was this whole sob story. We're like, okay,
and then come to find out, he's like a wannabe YouTuber, TikToker who was trying to get people to watch him, and he kept on and on and on with Theo, and Theo finally had enough and just went, "Get the fuck out of here, dude!" And then that's the part you see where it makes it look like the guy is just like, "Hey, Theo, I'm a big fan."
Yeah,
he's like, "Get the fuck out!"
We don't know what he's saying.
Yeah,
your back is turned to us, and also someone's filming it conveniently. The whole thing, and we don't see anything. There's no exchange there. That's why there's always that.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it. I'll tell you, it was funny. The merch thing. Here's exactly how it works. You've been on my merch table. Mm-hmm. I got a bunch of DVDs because I made a bunch of docs, and I got boxes of them in the back, so I just throw the DVDs in case I sell DVDs. And they all come in that shrink-wrap cellophane.
Yeah.
And anyone who buys one goes, "Could you sign it?" And then it takes 10 minutes to get it out of the shrink-wrap cellophane because I don't have a box cutter. People are looking for their keys. You're using your fingernail.
Yeah.
Then the line is, and you're going, "Can I get this?" So I'll say to my guy, I go, "Listen, just take 10 of these and take the fucking cellophane off and put them on the table. So if someone buys one, I'll just sign it for them and hand it because it always takes too long to get the whatever." And they'll go "Yeah, okay, boss." Smash cut to after the show. I'll take that. It's got the cellophane on it. And you're looking at the guy and he's not paying any attention. You're like, what the fuck? Why? Why do we have these conversations if you're not going to...
People don't listen. It's simply people not listening. No one's paying attention. They have their own fucking TV going on in their head.
Oh, we have the Theo Von vid that somehow I missed, I guess. It's after show kind of thing? Meet and greety?
No, it's at some bar. It's some random bar in Nashville. Theo wasn't even at the show. Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, it's me. That's me. It's my birthday. Guys,
and laughing while it's happening.
Yeah, just get away. And also, let me tell you something. We go nuts, like putting hands on people. Pushing someone away from you is not assault. Even what P. Diddy did to that chick in the hall, that's like a Tuesday for me in high school. Yeah. That's like nothing. No. That would have been nothing.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you didn't see P. Diddy in the hallway?
No, I try to avoid piss, man.
You saw Theo.
that I saw. I don't know. I try to avoid the Diddy thing. Grosses me out.
It does?
Yes.
Rudy's a huge fan. Well, ever since he bought that love sack.
Yeah. He's got steaks and love sack.
Yeah, I send him the reels. He sees them.
Okay.
The P. Diddy thing is awesome, man.
I gotta watch. I guess I don't know.
It's going down.
I know. I saw some stuff.
All right, let's rank. I was trying to rank yesterday. I was on the phone with the guy who wouldn't take the fucking cellophane off the DVDs. I said, look, Weinstein, he's the leader in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. Well, no, sorry, Epstein.
Sure.
Epstein's the worst, right?
Yeah.
But who's second? Is it Weinstein or P. Diddy?
Ooh, I would say right now Weinstein. Only because we know so much of what has gone on behind the scenes. Where like the whole story of P. Diddy hasn't come out yet. I mean, we know most of it, but it hasn't solidified yet. So maybe after we get the verdict, we see everything that happened, maybe some more stories come out. But Weinstein, I feel like, is number 2 for sure.
Well, Weinstein did a lot of rape, sort of trade out rape, like you want to work in this town, let me have sex with you. But he didn't have a lot of the other weirdness around it, the guns and the male prostitutes, and there's a lot of other moving parts with P. Diddy.
Dude.
I mean, what Weinstein did is what everyone in this town did up until 10 minutes ago. That's basically the casting couch. Yeah. That's essentially what half the guys in this town did in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So he didn't break any new ground. But P. Diddy, with the oil.
Mm-hmm. And they're young. The problem with P. Diddy was so young. Wasn't Aaliyah like 14? He's number 2 then. Yeah. Because it's the second you get underage, I'm like, we're done here. That's it. It's bad. It's gross. It's over.
All right. So we got Epstein.
Then, P. Diddy broke Bieber.
He broke Bieber.
That's so that in my mind, you're right.
He said Beaver, by the way.
Beaver.
All right, so because Bieber seems broken. Yeah. All right, so
Bieber's not doing well.
Did that in the hotel hallway.
We got Epstein up top. I'm going to go P. Diddy and then Weinstein. All right, I'll get the message to Weinstein. I'm sure he'll be flattered.
Get him on the pod.
Steph, let's give you a big fat plug on a very well-deserved, funny Netflix special.
Thank
Filth
you.
Queen, available on Netflix. It's very funny. It's a good watch. It moves. It's energetic. That's whatever the guy in the cabin said.
It's exactly what that man said.
Your dad really wrote that, right? Just said Mr. Phillips.
No, there's no way. My dad is like, he'd be like, funny stuff, labia. Like my dad.
He got some. He got ChatGPT. He got someone else, right?
That's my special name. Funny stuff, labia.
Rudy, Steph's dad is here as well, and he brought the cabin guy.
Son of a bitch.
I showed him some of your YouTube stuff. He did not react as positively as he did with Steph, so I'm just going to kind of set the table for you.
Yes.
All right, Steph, great to see you, my friend. Live dates coming up all over the place as well. Where do we go to find your live dates?
Just go to my Instagram at Steph Tolev, and then I got a link in my bio, punchup.live/Steph Tolev. I'm touring a big tour. September on. Keeping them hard is what I'm calling it.
Come back soon, please, and tell us all that you're up to.
I will.
Michael Malice is going to join us next. We'll do that right after this. Homes.com. Some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Or perhaps it's that Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. So if you're looking for a home or you're doing what I do, I just like checking it out, kicking some tires, Homes.com. We've done your homework. Simply Safe. Well, it's important to feel safe, especially at home. Why you have a home. Traditional home security systems only take action after someone has already broken in. Well, that's too late. Simply Safe with 2 eyes is setting the new standard in home security. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection can help prevent break-ins before they happen. With AI-powered cameras backed by live professional monitoring agents, they'll monitor your property to detect any suspicious activity. Monitoring plans start affordably around $1 a day. So $1 a day for peace of mind, not too shabby. These guys are great sponsors, great company. I know the whole origin story. We always use them. We've used them here since they've been around, and that's been over a decade with us. It's Simply Safe. Am I right, Dawson?
You can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free at simplysafe.com/Adam. Just head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this year. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Ace Man, gotta get it on. I think I found an exception to the rule, and I want to hear your opinion on this about guys who cross their legs and show off their socks. I Googled it. Guy who did that a ton back in the day, and I wouldn't think you'd call him a liberal. Ronald Reagan. All right, get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
It's an anomaly. It happens. There are some dudes who cross their legs like chicks. Dr. Drew crosses his legs like a chick. Michael Malice has joined us. Michael's got a book, Not Sick of Winning, a history of President Trump's first 100 days. Let's talk about crossing your legs like chicks for a second, Michael Malice.
Okay.
Now, I noted that they're kind of two. So I used to sit next to Dr. Drew, and we used to do a TV show on MTV, and we sat in these two chairs, and there was no table or anything in front of us, and I would cross my legs with my left ankle on top of my right kneecap, like way open.
Okay.
And Drew crossed his legs like a woman. And I remember at the time, in the late 90s, I'd say to him, Drew, who the fuck crosses their legs? Like, what dude crosses? I took note of it. Now, everyone crosses their legs like a chick, but if they're liberal, it's 100% across the board. Like if you see Justin Trudeau or Obama or Gavin Newsom, it's a hard cross all the time. And I think it's turned into a sort of signal, like a bandana hanging out of a gay man's right rear pocket. I think you're now signaling.
You know how vocal fry, which is talking like this, is an affectation that women use to display a certain level of wealth or education?
Yes.
I've also noticed that a lot of politicians and leftist pundits have I don't know if I could say this, but, let's just say less than heterosexual affect to how they speak to signal a certain level of status and living in urbanity. I can't cross my legs at my knee because I'm into designer denim and they're kind of tight. And I don't think that makes it better or worse. I'm not sure. It certainly doesn't help. But I think a lot of times there's a lot of these subtle social signals that people use to pass as one group or another. In fact, whenever I'm arguing with someone, I always try to mimic their language and their talking points as much as possible. Someone was just yelling at me this morning about being racist because I was comparing the New York City race to 9/11, and I just quoted RuPaul saying pointing out racism is boring. So when you're quoting RuPaul, they assume you must be on the left, even if the statement's true, and they don't really know what to do at that point.
Yeah, I agree, and it's an interesting thing, and I'm not sure if they're aware of it. It's a kind of overall generalized affectation where you're sounding. I mean, so it used to be. So it's interesting. So it used to be if you drove a Cadillac or a Mercedes-Benz or had a Rolex watch, you could just kind of walk in and let people know where you're at, you know. Also, you went to college, you know. I went to Stanford, you know. Okay. So the Rolex and the Mercedes-Benz and the Stanford degree doesn't really mean shit anymore. And so now you have to sort of globalize it and internalize it. And I don't really think they know what they're doing. But I'm saying this, and you're right with the vocal fry. It was so glaring to me 25 years ago that Dr. Drew crossed his legs in this bizarre way that I used to yell about it out loud all the time. And now it's standard fare. And it cannot just be a coincidence that Barack Obama and Justin Trudeau and Gavin Newsom look like they're having a competition to see who can cross their legs harder than the next, thus signaling who they are and where they are. And it's really interesting and it's funny. And I don't know if they know what they're doing. I sort of like when you get, when they talk to a black church, Hillary Clinton becomes a sharecropper from 1879, right?
Well, I mean, given that they're swimming in circles filled with unsavory characters, maybe signaling homosexuality is a way to say that, hey, I'm not one of the pedophiles. I'm just the gay one.
Yeah, I'm the victim. So the book is interesting. It's interesting how annoyed, for lack of a better term, agitated. It's almost agitated a lot of people are with Trump, especially on the left, and especially women on the left. They're like, what's going on? And for me, I feel like a marlin in the open sea. I'm just like, yeah, go, man, go, do more shit, fix more problems. Like, go, get shit done, make hay while the sun is shining. And I realized, like, so many people, especially women on the left, are like, no. And I think I kind of know what it is, but tell me what you think it is.
Well, I tweeted out many years ago, they don't hate Trump, they hate Dad. And that's one of the things. I think for decades,
I've always said that.
A lot of American politics has been geared toward Karen because the white suburban mom is the swing voter and the white liberal college student is basically who becomes Karen, right? Mm-hmm. And for the first time in our lifetimes, I think, you have a president who's like, yeah, I don't care what you have to say. Like, he's really kind of not even pretending to give lip service to their grievances and their shrieking. They had their heyday during COVID. That's when they were running the show and, you know, everyone's kowtowing to Karen culture. But Trump has no use for that, nor do Trump's appointees, including the females. And when you have a population whose entire worldview is, you know, feminism is the premise that women are allowed to say no but never have to hear it. Right. So when you have this entire population just being told no for the first time in their lives, and not even no with, like, let's sit down and have a discussion. It's like, we want to ban guns. There was a school shooting, let's ban all guns. No. And they don't know what to make of this. So, of course, and I think the media gives them a space to externalize their histrionics and neuroses and anxieties and depressions.
Yeah, if you can find, Andrew, where it all began, which I always tell everyone, this is kind of the genesis of it. The reporter asking Trump about where the virus came from, comes from China. The China one, that's where it all began. And you're right. And it's a little hard for me. It's kind of more of a feeling than I can articulate it exactly. But these people are so used to sort of having their way that if you tell them to shut up, but are dismissive about it, they don't really know what to do with themselves. I have had it happen a couple of times in my life where I have told people to fuck off who haven't been told to fuck off in 40 years. And their reaction is never the reaction that a regular person would have who gets told to fuck off all the time, who might tell you to fuck off or get violent. They look confused. Like they're literally like, what the, hold on, you're not allowed. Wait a minute, you have to listen to me. And it's like, no, I don't, shut up. We're doing it without you. And they don't know what to do with themselves. And it's caused anger, but also it's like anger and confusion I'll play the China clip, by the way, which is, if anyone said, who is Trump and why is he pissed these people off to no end? I'll just go, you got time for a 41-second clip? That'll be it. Because she goes, China, and then she's going right to the racist card, and he's like, fuck off.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China.
That's it.
He didn't call it the Chinaman virus. He didn't say China is not a race. And when you say like American flag, you're not identifying that as something for white people or anything. But Adam, to your point, I think I don't think I know, unless you're Channing Tatum or something like that. Every heterosexual man has to spend his entire adolescence and early adulthood being told no by women a lot. So we're used to it. We know what it's like to want something and be like, sorry, buddy, no, and you're not even hearing an explanation. But for these females, Hollywood, the mall, academia, every other outlet just dedicate telling them yes, queen, and how awesome they are. So they never are told, sit down and shut up.
I know. And that one little clip, she gets into it and you see her shaking her head and she's going, oh, I got him now. Oh, he's going to back off this thing. He better come up with something good because I'm doing this thing where I'm scolding him and I'm doing this sort of head nod shake thing and I'm a little bit of pissed and I know better than him. And then he goes, because it comes from China. And then she's got nowhere to go and nothing to do after that.
It's also hilarious how sometimes Asians are regarded as a minority and victims of racism, and other times they pretend they don't even exist and they're basically default treated as whites. It's just this kind of Schrodinger's race, how the corporate journalists approach Asian people.
Well, it's so funny that Asian in America, I mean, it's something like, 13% black and 31%, 35% Hispanic or something, like 4% Asian, but somehow they're not minorities because they out-earn white people. Right. And this weird thing where we're deciding what a minority is by their yearly income is an insane, it's like Nigerian, you guys are black, but not black, not minority black, because you guys you earn more than whites and Hispanics, so you're not really like it. By the way, it should be embarrassing to them that they've decided to. It should be embarrassing to them that they're all about women and they're all about minorities and they're all about black women, but none of them are about Thomas Sowell and none of them are about Candace Owens, and they hate those people the most, which is a weird thing because be consistent at least.
I don't think they're about blacks or about women at all. They're about power.
Yeah.
And the only thing that matters is, what do I have to say to get you to do what I want?
Yeah.
So to expect that they're consistent, like they don't use language to communicate, they use it to manipulate, just like you're seeing with that girl and the reporter. So I think it's perfectly consistent. It's just when people take it at face value, it's confusing because they'll flip-flop from one minute to the next. But to feel embarrassed means you have to feel shame. Why would they feel shame? They're just, being manipulative.
Yeah, I get it, and then it kind of gets down to something I do talk to Dr. Drew about a lot, and we'll see if you vibe with it. There are people that get a lot of stuff done, and then there's sort of process people. And the process people just want to talk about a seat at the table, and they want to talk about having a community, and they want to talk about everyone being treated with dignity. And then there's people that go, come on, let's go. What are we doing? Let's get it done. Let's move.
Right.
And when you come up against a process person and you're like, let's go person, they get agitated and angry and then sort of combative. And at some point, you're just trying to build something and do something, and they're just angry and combative. Like, this thing where it's like the border's wide open. Well, I'm going to the triangle countries, and I'm going to sit down and talk to them about root causes of, and then nothing, and always nothing, constantly nothing. Put a wall up. Get the National Guard. Like, no. Slow it down. Everything's a conversation if you're a process person. Nothing comes out the other end. In California, we're going to have another blue-collar panel about homelessness, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about root causes, and we're going to talk about people being treated with dignity, and then nothing's ever going to... Oh, and then we're going to talk about names. Let's not call them homeless. Let's call them unhoused. And they're going to do everything but something. And it's weird that they exist.
The root causes would actually be relevant, perhaps, if there was no space for these people, but there's plenty of shelters for them. They're choosing to be on the street, so the cause and effect is irrelevant if the problem has a solution that's not being applied. I wish I could remember who it was that I spoke to, but they had worked in a law firm, and it would always be a female, would say, we need more minority or black people like at this firm. And the guy who ran it said, okay, you're tasked with this. Without lowering our standards, find me these candidates. If you can, I'll get you a bonus, and if you don't, you're fired. And they always walked because they want to have their status by pointing out a problem, but they're not problem-solving people. They're just problem-causing people.
Yeah, I was doing this kind of thought experiment the other day, and I was thinking about sort of the process versus the doers. Also, as I've said, Trump was a commercial builder, and commercial builders are always in a hurry. It's waiting for the next, it's all a process, get the foundation guy, then get the concrete guy, then we got to get the steel guy, then we got to get the glass panel. And at some point, they're putting toilet paper rolls up in the bathroom, but that's a long way from here, so you're always in a hurry. But here's an interesting metaphor or process. You go, okay, the Twin Towers have just been taken down, 9/11, they're gone. So we're going to rebuild the Twin Towers. I'm going to give one tower, I'm going to give the project to Kamala Harris. She's in charge of rebuilding that one tower. And the other tower, we're going to put Donald Trump in charge. Okay, so what do you guys want as a community? I would like the tower to be done as quickly as possible and at the lowest possible price. Okay, so what does Donald Trump do? Well, Donald Trump goes, I want the best subcontractors I've worked with to come in here and put in overtime. And by the way, they could all be black, they could all be women, and they could all be gay. I doubt it, but whoever the best is, we're going and we're building. Kamala Harris says, I need a person, a manager, a construction manager who's female and who's a woman of color. So until we can find her, we can't get started. And then we look for her. Meanwhile, Trump's up to the third story, and you're still interviewing women of color. And by the way, the woman of color you end up with doesn't have much experience doing commercial high-rises in Manhattan because you've shrunk your pool so much. And then you hire her, and now Trump's up to the fifth floor, and now you go, all right, let's see if we can get the foundation guys in here. When I say guys, I mean 40% women doing foundation, 40% people of color. Those people need to represent the city. Trump's at the 17th floor now, and you haven't even fucking done your first pour because you're too busy trying to make this thing look like the city it represents or whatever the fuck. And by the way, you don't have the best people because what are the chances you're going to get the best steel guy, and the best steel guy is going to be bi-curious? That's what it is.
Well, this is also where it gets dangerous to take the analogy in another direction with the military. Because there's two visions of what the military is. The military is either, our force to defend our borders and fight wars and destroy stuff, or it's basically this Benetton ad, and it should look as much like America as possible. So if we're fighting the Nazis, we got guys in wheelchairs and ladies with, genitals and so on and so forth. And we saw this during the Biden administration. There was a diversity office within the VA. And this is where it gets deadly, because when you're shoulder to shoulder, band of brothers in the field, you're not thinking of yourself as black or Georgian or whatever. You're all Americans there. You're all fighting the common enemy. But if you're encouraging these soldiers to have this kind of identity politics, that could lead to really severe consequences and people getting killed. But they don't think in these terms because everything just has to be cast like what they see on TV, as opposed to living in reality.
What do you think? Do you think we will kind of turn the corner on the process word salad people that just are constantly talking and nothing ever comes out the other end, versus some like results-based stuff. Like, okay, the border's ostensibly closed. Fine. Good. Right. I think most people are like, good, the border's closed. Fine. We now know who's in this country, or we don't know who's in here, but we know who's coming in. All right. Are there going to be enough of those types of victories that sort of 80-20 subjects with the American people, where the American people are sort of go, you know what, maybe this is just a better way to go than the people that just sit around and talk about race and never do anything?
No, in my opinion, because I don't think the average person looks at issues with anything close to rationality. Mm-hmm. They don't run a true or false filter. They run an us or them filter. And even if Trump brought about utopia in America, which he obviously is not going to do, at the end of the day, there are going to be enough people who watch the corporate news who will tell you that he legalized murdering gay people and that he's deporting innocent American dads from their homes, and so on and so forth. There are people who will tell you right now that he went to Charlottesville and was praising Nazis, and they will tell you with a straight face they heard those words with their own ears, and you play them that clip, they will tell you, see, I told you so. So I think you're overestimating the rationality of the typical person. And I think the typical American is actually smarter and more rational than a typical person outside of America. So that's how bad I think it is.
I agree. I don't hold up a lot of faith in humanity. I will say, at our core, we're sort of narcissistic pragmatists, where you kind of go, look, bottom line is, I just don't want to step over any homeless people on my way to the car in the fucking morning with my kids. Like, I just don't want my house broken into. I don't want my back fence tagged again. Like, I don't want to pay $6 a gallon for gas. I just don't want to do that. Now, I love, Gavin Newsom, or I love whomever, but I just don't want to pay $6 for gas. You know what I mean? So there's a kind of that. So it's kind of both. Like, I agree with you. They're tribal and they've declared a major and whatever. But there is a kind of, Howard Stern's in Florida most of the year because he makes a shitload of money and it's just a better life and saves a lot in taxes. And I'm guessing, there's a lot of folks that are progressive who live in Florida just because it's just like, it's safer. I keep a lot more of my own money and so what? I'll still vote blue, but I'll live in Florida, And so there is a kind of a pragmatism about it. And so if things were like, I would say if you took a mayor of LA and that guy just fucking cleaned up LA and got rid of the homeless and the graffiti and worked on traffic or something like that, the most progressives in LA would still kind of go, okay, I like this guy because he got rid of this stuff, this crime or whatever.
Well, I think it depends. I mean, New York had 20 years of right-of-center mayors in a row, and that was precisely for the issues that you're talking about. You had Democrats who would never in a million years vote for Republican for president, happy to pull the lever for Giuliani or Bloomberg. Not that they were particularly right-wing Republicans, but they certainly had to go in the booth and go into the Republican column, which I'm sure hurt them emotionally on some level. But I don't know, man. If you look at Canada, if you look at Chicago, a lot of people want the cage. They double down. LA is a great example. You had that guy who was running against Karen Bass. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Rick Caruso.
He was hardly some kind of Rick Santorum, radical social conservative, and he couldn't get through. You saw what just happened in the primary in New York. Not that I'm a big Andrew Cuomo fan, but I think a lot of people want the pain or want what they perceive as, the best way forward. And no matter what the problem is, it's the other side's that's caused it. We heard this for 4 years. The border was open because somehow it was the Republicans' fault. And then the second Trump comes in, the border gets closed, the Republicans somehow vanished. So as long as you have this boogeyman of the other party, you could get away with murder, literally.
Yeah, I agree. And you're very true. Very right. Like, Chicago went from Lori Lightfoot to like, God, could you do any better? Do any fucking worse than this crazy bitch? To, oh yeah, you can. Brandon Johnson, you can. And New York went that way too. I would, and And you're right with L.A., but then L.A. burned to the ground. And the next time after the burning to the ground, maybe there'll be some movement in L.A.
Sure, but the fact that you have to say maybe is, I think, telling.
Sad.
Because in any other situation, if there was a level of rationality, it's like, okay, like look at Herbert Hoover. You know, he wasn't as bad as people say, but when you go from 29 to 32 and everyone's like, all right, I don't know what the other guy's for, but this is a disaster. I'm just going to run for the hills. That hasn't happened in LA. I don't think Karen Bass would get 10% of the vote. I think she would get a guaranteed minimum 40.
We have the tape. Well, it's kind of funny. The Zohran guy who won in New York, or maybe on his way to being the mayor of the city, which is incredible with his grocery stores. It's so they have no idea what they sound like. I guess they don't care. First off, grocery stores don't work off of big margins. I think it's like 1.5%, 2%, maybe 3%. That's not a big profit margin, like number one. Number two, if a grocery store is sort of a modern miracle, if you think about it, like just aisles and aisles of fresh produce and meats and fresh pressed orange juice and dairy and stuff like that. Or, you know, when people go like, this head of lettuce, it's $6. I'm like, it doesn't feel like that much considering the life this thing has had. Yes.
Can I interject here? We saw this happen, I think it was 89, when Boris Yeltsin came to, it was Houston, I believe, and he went to an American supermarket for the first time coming the far side of the Iron Curtain. And we have footage of him. I went to that supermarket, still there, walking around, just befuddled. And they were shocked at how big the onions were and things like this. And the people shopping there were like janitors and teachers. These weren't dignitaries. And he said, you know, we've lost. Like, this is just proof that the free market is better. And on the way home, he basically had the reverse of a nervous breakdown as his brain realigned into reality. He held his head in his hands. I wrote about this in my last book, The White Pill. And he goes, they lied to us. Like, they had to lie, because if anyone knew at all what the true facts were, this is just a complete obvious choice. And the amount of I used to live in New York. I still don't know how to drive since I moved to Austin. The being able at 24 hours a day to go to this bodega and get fresh milk. I mean, if you went back in time 100 years ago and told that to all the poor immigrants on the Lower East Side, they think you're smoking opium.
Also, I just do this thought experiment from everyone. All right, the government. Would you like the government to take over tacos? Government taco. There are no more taco stand, this stand, anything. There's just government taco. And everyone goes, that would be a shit show. That'd be a horrible taco. I don't want that taco. And I go, good. That's how you know. That's how you know you don't want them in charge of it. Taco's very simple. Taco just relies on competition. That's all a taco is. It's like, we've all done it. They go, oh, man, if you go the Paquito Mas, man, the street taco's awesome. They go, I got another place. And then there's a truck, and it's all, everyone's on their toes. You can't charge $40 a taco, and the one has to be better than the last one you handed out. And there's a crazy variety, and you can get them at any time, and they're fucking delicious, and the price is really manageable. But I'm just saying, would you like to do away with all that and let the government handle tacos? And if the answer is an unequivocal no, then you have your answer to everything.
Well, you know, Ayn Rand had this essay called The Anti-Conceptual Mentality, and she talked about how she was talking to some businessman, and she sat him down, and she explained about principles of capitalism and markets and so on and so forth. And at the end he goes, okay, I agree with you that we shouldn't regulate the coal industry. And then he goes, but what about the steel industry? Right. And, she kind of has to facepalm because it's the same arguments.
Right.
But I don't think people can transfer what you're saying about tacos to other spaces, because in their head, here's the thing: if you and I never had a taco again, it really wouldn't be the end of the world, right? So it's not really important in people's minds, so they can't really apply it to things that matter to them. With the things that matter to them, they want that government guarantee, they want that force, they want to make sure they have it, and the only way to have that is through this kind of violent force that imposes its will.
We have the video of the guy who
may
soon be mayor of New York City explaining how he's going to fix this problem. Also, can we do this? Can we say this, Michael? I've been on this planet for a long time. I was poor for the first half of my life, very poor. The supermarket system isn't broken. Like, I was poor, and so I didn't go to Gelson's or Whole Foods. I went to Lucky's, and I bought generic cereal and, like, generic stuff, but I was fine. I could buy milk and bananas. I made $8 an hour, drove a truck, swung a hammer, and I'd fucking go shopping. I'd buy some Adam, hamburger meat. Yes.
It's even simpler than that. We have food stamps.
Right.
Food stamps mean if I'm poor to the point where I can't afford food, I go to the supermarket, I can buy not everything, but enough to make sure I'm keep from starving. There's no reason for the government to run the store when they just give out those food stamps and have people who in need buy whatever they want.
I agree. All right, let's listen to Zohran.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zohran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you. Grocery.
Okay.
But
by the way,
all that means is when I buy my groceries, I'm also paying for your groceries because it's going to be through taxation.
Yeah, and also this like gouging thing, like, you know, we just got done. Newsom just accused oil companies of gouging California. They're not gouging. You're overregulated. It costs too much to run a refinery here. Stores operate at 2-3% margins. I don't think that's gouging, but also, if they started gouging at the Ralph's, then I'd go up the street to the Safeway and get my food. That's how it worked. Let's forget about the oil companies. Why don't we have the AM/PM gas station on the corner of San Fernando and Victory just start gouging and charging $15 a gallon for gas? Go ahead.
Yeah. There's this old Russian expression: if you think it's expensive now, wait till it's free. So, I mean, this idea that, you know, the cost of running, it's going to be union workers, it's going to be land that could be used, you pay rent or a property tax on that land. There's so many ways this is losing revenue, and who's it helping? And if he's going to start doing some kind of price controls thing, I mean, if you talk about Bear Shells Biden, you know, a few years ago, this is what happens in all these other cities where the grocery stores can't handle all the theft without the legalization. You know, it's not being policed, and then they run out of business, and then you have these so-called food deserts. I mean, the poor people are the ones who are hurt first, but they don't care about that.
Michael, let me give the book a plug. Not Sick of Winning: A History of President Trump's First 100 Days. Available now on the podcast. You're welcome with Michael Malice as well. Michael, I hope when you're in L.A., you'll come by and see us in person, please.
I will, I promise. Always a pleasure, Adam.
Always a pleasure, Michael. All right, we'll take a quick break. Rudy's going to come in. He's got the news. We'll do that right after this.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
And now, Alcoa presents Definitely Not a Jew on the Adam Carolla Show. Dateline, Clearwater, Florida. A 22-year-old woman was charged with battery after getting into an altercation with the cashier at 7-Eleven and hitting her in the face with a banana. The woman is employed as a stripper at Baby Dolls Gentlemen's Club. Definitely not a Jew.
Yeah. Rudy.
Yeah, bud.
Rudy's got some news.
Let's do it. So the Simpsons kill off Marge Simpson. Sort of. The Simpsons season 36 finale revealed that the Simpson family matriarch died in a flash-forward scene. The episode titled "As Stranger Things" focuses on the sibling bond between Bart and Lisa, who grow apart after they stop watching the kids' show Itchy and Scratchy. Marge is fearful that her kids will become estranged, which turns out to be a reality 35 years after Marge has died. Which, I understand that a lot of these television shows, it's tough to be able to do an entire, take characters from when they were children and put them into their teen years. But at some point, people do have to realize, they were talking about how fans of the show were pissed off. First off, I don't know any fans of The Simpsons anymore. I think they've kind of died out. But then on top of it, you do have to realize, like, this is a story. I get that they all kind of just sit in the same age in perpetuity. But at some point, people do have to die.
I want you to talk to my twins after the show because I can't get through to those two.
About?
People dying.
What, really?
They've got to die one day.
Well, it feels weird that people would be angry about such a weird thing.
I really don't know. I mean, my God, I saw The Simpsons, their first episode. I think we looked it up once. It must have been 89 or something.
The full episode or Tracy Ullman?
Yeah, full episode. Oh, you have Simpson characters on your body, right?
I got SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, I thought you had somebody from The Simpsons. Oh, all right. Better. The point is I was staying in Berkeley in a friend's house in December of 89. Yeah, end of 89. And I was trying to do comedy, and it wasn't working out. And I was kind of living in this dude's house because his roommate went out of town. I rented his room, and I drove out from L.A. And I remember seeing the first episode, and I just remember going, "This is smart. It's interesting. It was funny." I remember taking note of it, kind of going, "There's definitely something here that I don't normally see," especially late 90s sitcoms, going up against sort of the family, sort of bumbling dad and the wife that's too good looking but puts up with him, and the one smart kid and the one dumb kid and all that kind of. This stood out to me, and I can't believe. For me, that was a lifetime ago. It was I was driving a truck and single, and it hadn't even got a whiff of show business. It was a completely and utterly different life for me, and I can't believe that thing is still here.
Yeah.
That I saw in my friend's rental house in Berkeley.
Yeah.
In 89.
Yeah, most of the stuff we saw, especially back in the 80s, would have a 2 to 5 episode lifespan, and then most of it died out. I mean, you think about, in fact, Family Guy does the bit. We might be able to find the clip. Family Guy does that entire bit where they talk about they got taken off the air for 2 or 3 years, and then their first scene back, they rattle off 55 shows that Fox canceled.
Yeah.
Instead of putting Family Guy back onto the air.
Yeah. I was early money on Family Guy. I thought it was really funny. I used to go do voices for Family Guy when Family Guy was at their first location. It was in the Valley.
Yeah,
wasn't on Wilshire back then.
Were you the voice of death before or after Norm? That must have been after, correct?
Norm Macdonald was the original voice of death, and then I replaced Norm. I'm assuming. I was friends with Norm, always was. Norm didn't seem to care. I never really talked to him about it. Definitely hung out with him after taking over as the voice of death with Norm. And I never did. It's kind of a weird life. I never asked Norm and I never asked Seth, and I've spent a lot of time with both of them. Why Norm? Here's what I'm going to assume. Norm lived in Playa del Rey or something. He lived by the beach. He was deep west side. There's kind of Beverly Hills west side, but you can just get over the hill. And then there's, Santa Monica west side. And then there's Hermosa Beach or Playa del Rey or something, deep. And Norm didn't drive himself. And he had difficulty with normal things. Like a lot of comedians are like no way I'm going into the valley, bro. And it's like, listen, first off, I used to drive my truck. I'd be working at Silver Lake one week, and I'd be Simi Valley, and I'd fucking get up, get in your car, and fucking drive somewhere. Would you fucking prima donnas? Like, what do you mean you can't do it or it's too much? You know what I mean? Like, it's weird how like overwhelmed everyone is all the fucking time. Last week, I got up in the morning. I moved. I had to be out of the rental place after being displaced. I literally got up at 7 on Thursday. I'm not fucking blowing my own horn, but I got up at 7. I moved for about 3 hours, and then I did a podcast for 2 hours, and then I jumped in the car and I drove to Vegas, and then I didn't give myself enough time to get to the hotel, so I just got dropped off at the club, and I changed in the back, and I did 2 shows. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just standing and talking or driving a car with air conditioning. People are like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But Norm did not drive himself. By the way, those of you who announce I don't drive, all you do is burden everyone around you.
Absolutely.
It's not, it's like your personal choice. Like I had a friend, every time I'd go out with him back when we were poor, for like breakfast. Back when it was like a big deal to pay for someone else's breakfast, you know. We'd go out and we'd be eating, like at $9 an hour swinging a hammer, and the check would come and go, yeah, man, I don't got any cash, I don't got any money. We didn't have credit cards or anything. And I go, why not? And he goes, I just took my ATM card and I just cut it in half with scissors because I'd take a bunch of money out on Friday and just spend it all week. And I go, okay, great. Now you don't have money. Yeah, I know. You don't like spending money. Me neither. Yeah. But now I got to buy your food. So now you have to drive Norm. I get the feeling he was probably late a few times or missed a couple of times, and they just went, fuck it.
Not worth it.
Because I did the first one in the valley, in the San Fernando Valley, when they were on Laurel Canyon, and like the first iteration of them. I think the first one I did was called Death Lives.
Yeah.
Which was me with my mom, Death's mom, who never stopped henpecking him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, who was famous actress, character actress. I can't. We'll find. Was she Seinfeld's mom in the? Oh
yeah. Yes, she was. Yeah, I can't remember her name though off the top of my head, but same voice.
Seinfeld's mom.
It wasn't it was Seinfeld. It was Costanza's mom. It was George's mom.
George's mom was my mom.
Yeah. Was Seth in on the script readings and all that, or did they have a director that kind of sat in for him?
We used to do. Yes, he would read in. And he would do Estelle. That's right, Estelle Harris. Mm-hmm. I keep thinking Estelle Getty. Yeah, Estelle Harris. Seth would be there always at the beginning, and he would always be late, and then you'd have to fucking sit around and wait, right? And then I would say, look, half the time I'm just doing pickups. And so, like, the script would read, I don't think so. And so it's like you do like 3, you go like, I don't think so. And then you go, I don't think so. Yeah. And then you go, I don't think so. And they go, all right. And we go to the next one. And some of them are just like grunts or no or or something, mm-hmm. And I'd go, all right, let's just pick this shit up, and they'd go, we got to wait for Seth. And then I'd go, do we have to wait for Seth? Seth needs to. And so then Seth would sit in the other room. He'd sit in the director's, the audio room, but you could see him through the glass. And then he would read with you.
Yeah.
He would do his part, and you would do your part. But he would do kind of a half of Peter Griffin, whatever, a non-record. They weren't recording his side of it. So he'd do like a kind of lazy. And I just tell him, I need 100%. I'm not fucking around. I mean, he didn't really care. I just go, I fucking waited a half hour, and now you're mailing in Peter Griffin. I need like full time.
Sure.
Like 100% Peter Griffin. He would laugh, and then he would do it, you know, or Stewie or whoever. He'd do them all. And I always knew when Seth made it big, like after Ted and so on and so forth, because I used to always come in and go, they go, we got to wait for Seth to come in. And I'd go, you don't need to wait. I'll just pick up my lines and you read Peter. And then they'd go, the guys would always be like, I know, but we got to wait for Seth because he needs to be involved. He's involved with everything here, you know.
Could you just lay down a couple of tracks just in case, you know? At least you'd be doing something while you're sitting in the booth.
So one day I just went in there, and a couple years on, and I was like, all right, Seth, not here. We got to wait for it. They go, no, we're going to do it now. And I go,
oh, nice.
Where's Seth? I don't know, but we're going to lay this down. And I was like, oh, you don't have to wait for Seth anyway? He goes, no, we don't have to wait for Seth. And I was like, oh, Seth's busy. Seth's rich. Seth's getting a blowjob. Like,
absolutely.
Seth's hammering checks.
Yeah.
Like, eventually, Mr. Hands-On is working on Ted, too, and fuck that.
Yeah, I do quite a bit of voiceover work, which is, you know, it's fine when you can get it. It's definitely ebbs and flows. I got a commercial on right now that, I don't know if you've ever had this doing VO work, but they basically told me, they're like, no, this is just for, it's a pop-up on the website. And you're just, you know, so they pay you, you know, pennies on the dollar. I have heard it's for mycomputercareer.edu. If you are ever listening to Hulu, or if you're ever like listening to SiriusXM or any, it's all over the goddamn place.
Watching Hulu or listening to Hulu?
If you're watching Hulu, it'll pop up like in a commercial.
I didn't know if there's some Hulu radio something.
Yeah, it's on Spot. It is all over the goddamn country. I get emails and text messages daily about, hey, I heard you doing the computer spot, and I'm like, these guys need to pay me a little bit more cash, man, because they basically sell you on like, but you get the exposure. I'm like, the exposure of what? I was like, my face, it's my voice. I don't get exposure. Like, people who know me. They know the commercial, but there's no like exposure. Also, I can't pay bills with that. So the amount of money that they paid me, like, I went back to my agent, was like, what the fuck? And they were like, nah, sorry, dude, this is what you get. So it's like, now I'm kind of in this crossroads where I go, all right, do I get rid of it and stop having people? Because, you know, like, I get noticed, people who listen to this show, or they hear me on other podcasts with Michael Yo, or they know me from other commercials that I've done. They go, oh, I know that guy. There's plenty of times I get off stage and people go, are you the My Computer Career guy? And I go, absolutely. And they're like, that's great. And I'm like, I got paid like $100 for that fucking thing. And these guys they're playing it all over the goddamn country. And I don't know if you've ever gone through this, but I'm telling you, it is like, it's chapping my ass right now.
No, I haven't. And I have done a lot of, I guess I would do, I knew there were national campaigns or whatever. I could bore everyone with crazy, long, stupid stories for this stuff. That aside, though, let's just hear you say, go to lovesack.com, offer code ADAM. And let's just hear what that would sound like.
Go to lovesack.com right now. Offer code ADAM.
Oh, that's nice.
You want
to... We don't need three.
You don't need three? Okay.
Okay.
All
right, I want to hear this. Yeah, I have my own million stories. There's a great... I don't know why the line always makes me laugh, but when... I think it was Norm Macdonald when he was deaf, and he sees... Peter Griffin sees death, and he starts running away as fast as he can, and Death goes, I caught Flojo, I can catch you. And I was like, oh, it's such a tough joke.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, Olympic sprinter dropped dead at 46 or whatever. Just, it's such a brilliant, tough, great joke.
It's the only show that I can sit down with like my entire family, my mom included, and everybody loves it. Like from start to finish, every episode.
Yeah, it was also weird just going there and Mila Kunis would just be standing around, you know, and everyone who did all the voices. It was a great vibe. Good, lots of food.
Yeah.
Fun floor. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No, well, good. Awesome. All right, let's move on.
I'm glad.
Florida to detain migrants in new Everglades facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. Florida this week started construction on a migrant detention facility the state is billing as efficient and low cost because Mother Nature will provide most of the security. Alligator Alcatraz is being erected on a little-used airstrip in the Everglades. The vast expanse of marshes and swamps that cover much of southern Florida hosts a dizzying array of wildlife, from hundreds of bird species to bobcats, panthers, crocodiles, and alligators.
It's kind of interesting. You need a fence around this facility to keep the alligators out, not to keep the inmates in. Yeah. It's so funny. I mean, not funny, but like that movies would have that theme when I was young, like, you may get off the rock of Alcatraz and all it is 2 miles of shark-infested water. And I remember, like, as a kid, I was like, oh, Pepillon was that way. Pepillon was like French Guyana, and if you escape the prison, now you're just going to have to deal with the swamps of Guyana, and I loved all those. And then later he went to Devil's Island, and it's like you'll never survive the current and the ocean swim to the mainland. I don't know why that stuff's always sort of romantic or something. Makes me feel like I'm 11 going, oh, man, that's cool. But if you think about it, nobody wants a fucking prison next to their school or their home or their market or whatever.
Sure.
They put it out in the fucking middle of the Everglades, and no one's going to have the incentive to go over the fence because it is nothing but snakes and alligators. So why not?
Yeah, wasn't that always the deal with Alcatraz? Was the shark-infested waters outside of it? Wasn't that was the whole thing?
They would do the if the current doesn't get you, the sharks will.
Yeah.
But then every year they have an Alcatraz fun swim for a whole bunch of fucking triathlete guys jump in the bay and swim all day. So what sharks, day off?
Yeah.
Or they're looking for guys in prison uniforms? You can't keep talking about the sharks and then have the shark fun swim every fucking year with the Alcatraz Polar Bear Club.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
And the current, I'm going to the current as well.
Yeah. How many other things in that ocean can possibly kill you that they're not telling us about? There's got to be, how much gay glitter, how many boas are down there?
It's really about the infection now more than it is the sharks. Like that, in today's America, you have a much better chance of getting pink eye and like a yeast infection from all the sewage.
Well, yeah. Just walking around San Francisco will give that to you.
Oh, yeah. We have the clip of Norm from...
oh, yeah.
Play it.
As it mentioned, I ran 2 weeks of junior varsity track.
Let's not do this. Hey, look, I caught Flo, Joe. You don't think I can catch you? My ankle!
All right. Caught Flo, Joe. You know what I love best about jokes like that? I guarantee whoever pitched that joke pitched it to his wife or his girlfriend or something, and she didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Sure.
It's tough, and then they don't get it. How
long are we going to listen to that in there?
I don't know. I made a joke. The model Rebecca Gayheart.
Oh yeah.
I said she had the same nickname as Manny Pacquiao. And someone's like, Manny Pacquiao was called the Mexicutioner. And I was like, yeah. I was like, she ran over a Mexican kid on the way to school. And everyone looked at me like, what? No. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? I get it. It was a horrible joke, but it also confused 80% of the room.
Yeah. Yeah, most of them are just sitting around going, Noxzema? What's got to do with Manny Pacquiao?
The Noxzema gal.
Yeah.
All right, there was. Yeah, the only... there was a line I always loved that I improvised in the one Death Lives one. There I sort of starred in that episode or whatever. But Death's mom, who's also dead, obviously, was just never stopped hounding her son. Me just kept yelling at me. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I just said under my breath, I go, God, I wish Dad was dead.
Did they give you a lot of wiggle room on that show?
They kept that one in there.
Wow.
Which was just a riff, but it was It was smart because you picture the exact same scene where you go, God, if Dad was still alive, he'd tell this bitch to shut up, but he's gone, but because it was death, I had to wait. Somehow Dad wasn't.
He's still alive. He's up
or
there.
something.
Yeah,
I didn't really do the math, but I thought it'd just be funny if we twisted the script on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, probably in the early days. Look, their thing was like, oh, said something funny. We'll keep it.
Sure.
Well, it just makes them seem better.
Yeah. I was doing a voiceover. I don't know why it just made me think of this, but in Minneapolis, I was doing a voiceover, and I got out of the booth after, probably 3 hours. And the lady director, as I was walking out, she pulled me aside. I was with a friend of mine, also another voiceover guy, and she leans into me and she goes, I just want you to know, you're not the most talented, but you're the most coachable.
Wow.
And we walked outside, and I get what she was saying, but a friend of mine's like, that's a hell of a compliment. I was like, fuck that bitch. I was like, I know what she means, but I'm a little angry about, I get that's great, very nice, I appreciate that. But wow, there was a part of me that's like, that is wildly backhanded.
You know what would be a great move? Find her husband or boyfriend was, and just go, listen, I will give you $800 if after your next blowjob, you say to her this line, you're not very talented, but you're coachable. I will give you $800 if you promise to do that.
I need it on film.
I need it. Well, we'll do audio. It's fine.
Can you give me 3?
Yeah, have fun with it. All right, one more.
One more. All right. Here it is. I wanted to bring this one up to you. A couple of thoughts about this guy. Disgraced influencer Liver King arrested in Texas after calling out Joe Rogan in unhinged post. If you remember, the Liver King, known for lying about his insane muscular physique, gobbling down raw organs and even testicles, was arrested in Texas after challenging Joe Rogan to a fight in a bizarre social media footage.
I never saw this.
Yeah, the YouTuber, whose real name is Brian Johnson, was charged Tuesday with making a terrorist threat soon after traveling to Rogan's home state and posting alarming videos after picking a fight with the podcaster, at times holding what appears to be 2 guns.
All right, let's see.
Everything. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. Honorable. And we don't have to pretend or make any videos. The world is watching. They'll make the videos for us. And you don't have to hold a camera. You can hold the hand of somebody that you love, because what happens next to you, you're going to need to remember that feeling. You're going to need something more than what you did to give you something to fight for, because I have my family to fight for. And I'll die for them, you know that. And you're a black belt, but you've never come across something like this. Willing to die, hoping that you'll choke me out. I pray to God, because that's a dream come true. It feels good. And then the limbs, I'm fighting for my family. So limb. Go ahead. But then you have to contend with something else. And I weigh 177 pounds. An actual savage. And so at first you're like, fuck that guy. And, right? When
you got to be short to be 177.
Yeah.
You're saying, I'm going to choke that motherfucker, that piece of fucking shit. I'm going to choke him out. That's what warriors do. You and Andrew Tate are good warriors. But you're actually better than that. Real tension we have. Comedy that you do is good and true. We have real tension. But what I see in you is comedy is good and true. Touch points. How people laugh. If we don't make fun of them at their expense, they laugh. You should all make fun of me.
Doc out?
You should all make fun of me at my expense.
He's got a Netflix.
There might be a train wreck doc on him.
And then you should get paid for it.
He's got a Netflix, like Liver King doc or something.
Let's go. Because we're leaving. We're going to Austin. What was my very last point?
That we're going to kick Joe Rogan's ass?
Is he with his kids?
The real G said it.
He seems like he smells.
It's my speech. Justin Fitz.
Yeah, smelly.
Yeah, that's a little unhinged. He's kind of got like fentanyl hands, the dirty kind of fentanyl, been out in the streets a little too long hands in that video.
So, but why did we get arrested? Because he had the guns?
Well, it must have been because the guns. It says here, I had it written down here. Where was it? It might be on the other page. But he was, it said that mostly because it was about the videos that he had posted with the 2 guns. He was detained at the Austin police, something or another. Why it says exactly why they don't tell, but here we go.
He was hanging around Austin making threats.
Yeah,
that's
booked in the
thing
Travis
says.
County Jail, Austin, 8:31 p.m. Online records show, but further details of the arrest were not immediately known Wednesday.
Yes, it's an untold documentary, Liver King.
Oh, Untold.
Untold did Malice in the Palace and that whole thing. Trainwreck is another one that did Fire Festival and shit like that.
Oh, okay. So they did one on him.
Yeah, they got a new one out about the Toronto mayor that I'm looking forward to.
Oh,
I watched it.
Yeah. Hey,
all right.
Speaking of docs, last night watched the Mad Magazine documentary.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Where'd you see it?
I rented it off of Amazon Prime.
You paid money?
I did, $5.99. I'll expect that back. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was great. I loved it. There was so much of it that you have to cram in 60 years of Mad Magazine into 90 minutes. So there's so much of it that just sort of gets a little not blown over, but they'd mention it. But I would have watched 2 hours on Mad Magazine versus J. Edgar Hoover. I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's out as we speak, wherever, When We Went Mad, one of our latest docs.
If you don't mind me asking, I know you were a part of it, and the crew, like Nate Adams and the guys around here were also a part of it, but this must have been started a while ago because Gilbert Gottfried is in it as well.
Yeah, docs are, sometimes we make them out of whole cloth, like many, the Newman doc and Shelby and Ford versus Ferrari, which is the 24-hour war and stuff like that. And then other times people come to us and they go, we have part of a doc. Can you guys finish this doc? And we know how to facilitate finishing the doc. And sort of everywhere in between. So there's some are works in progress, some are done, some I just fund from Jump Street, others we get funding and do them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not really a way to make a living. It's just a way to create stuff and to have something something that Mike August won't take the cellophane off of in advance, even though he's been told repeatedly to do it in a merch table at some point.
Sure.
And it just ends up being, when you're done with your life and Norm Macdonald or Adam Carolla come calling, there's just going to be a pile of books, a pile of docs, a pile of old cars or whatever, and this is just be one more thing that my kids don't care about. But it's also kind of weird when you get on a little bit, you just start looking at stuff. Like I sometimes find myself at the merch table looking at all the movies going, oh yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember thinking of that, and now it's this, and it's kind of nice. But yeah, for us, I think, and I got to talk to Nate exactly, but I'm pretty sure somebody got this going and then couldn't complete it or something, and then came to us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very well done. Like the production value of it. In fact, after about 6-7 minutes of watching it, I thought to myself, "Oh, this is what it would feel like if you were watching a Mad Magazine. If it was coming to life in front of you, that is what this felt like."
Well, I'm telling you that it's sort of when you don't notice it where it kind of makes a difference. Like if you watch, the Andre the Giant doc, which I did and I enjoyed because it's Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan is just like sitting in his kitchen in Boca Raton, like being interviewed. And we wouldn't do that. We'd go, you can't just sit in your kitchen and give an interview. Let's put you in the den. Let's put the championship belts around you and the trophies around you. If we're going to shoot something, we're going to shoot Mario Andretti, or we're going to shoot him at the track, or we're going to shoot him in the trophy room, or we're going to bring in and set it and light it so it looks. It's not you sitting in your kitchen talking about wrestling or car racing. I want you in that environment, you know? And when it's done right, it's just quiet and subtle and no one really notices. But at the end, you go, I like that one better, look better. But it's really Nate and others going, we are going to dress this place and we're going to light it in a certain way and we're going to make it look like when you see it, you'll know this is a doc about car racing because that's the environment these people are in.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some artistry to it. And, you know, Nate does a good job. We do a good job on it. So stuff looks good. But thanks.
Yeah, fantastic. Loved it.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, loved it.
All right, Rudy, let me give you a plug. Where are you going to be next?
Let's see. I'm going to be Friday. I'll be at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club in Las Vegas with Jamie Lizzow. And then after that, let's see. I'm taking a couple of weeks off, going to northern Minnesota. And then you can find me with Orny Adams July 11th and 12th at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club in Vegas.
Are you going to be in Milwaukee?
I will be with you on the 17th in Wisconsin. Then I'm doing a couple of Don't Tells in Milwaukee. And then we're doing the Pabst Theater together July 20th.
All right. That's going to be good. You can go to amcarolla.com for all my live shows. Irvine coming up at the Improv, Live Pod 10th, and then the 11th through the 12th, Covina Laugh Factory. Go to amcarolla.com for that. Until next time, I'm Crow for Rudy and Steph and Michael saying mahalo.